Just so participants are requested to kindly mute yourself. That will be better for us. You can write in the chat box whether my this PPT is visible or not. Please write down in the chat box. Okay, I think it is visible. So today we will start. So I'm going to start today's session on time series analysis. And basically, this time series analysis is used for the forecasting. So as you all know that what is the forecasting? Forecasting is anything which is used to give the insights or predictions about the future based on the present data or the past data. Okay, so we are using the past data to make the prediction of trend or anything in the future. So basically this is called time dependent data. In statistics, there are three types of time dependent data. So what is time dependent? Any data which is dependent on the time, that is called time dependent data. It means it is changes over the time. So this is a time dependent. So in statistics, basically we deal with three types of time series this time dependent data. One is my screen is visible or not? Okay, so we have three types of time dependent data. One is time series data, second is cross sectional data, and third is this type of panel data. So basically time series data, what is the time series data? Any data which is arranged in a chronological order, that is according to a particular time period. It may be the year wise, it may be month wise, it may be day wise. Okay, so this is called time series data. It means there are so many consecutive years data is available. That is time series data. Like the production of particular crop, from 2010 to 20, 10 years data, 2010, 11, 12, like that. So it is a time series data. Okay. And what is the cross-sectional data? The cross-sectional data is which is arranged at a particular time period for different sections. Okay. Here time is same for all the sections. So data is available at a particular time period, like in 2020, presently, number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 in different states. Okay, here time is your same. That is today, like 15 or 16, 15 or 16, 16 January 2021. This is a time period. Or January 2021, it is a time period. And at this present time, how many number of COVID-19 confirmed cases in different, in the states of India. Okay, so here the one thing is constant, that is time is constant, and the data is available according to state wise. So this is called basically cross-sectional data. So time series data and cross-sectional data, and this panel data. Panel data is nothing, only the combination, or the combination of both the data, time series as well as cross-sectional data. So time series and cross-sectional data, and panel is a combination of both type of data. So have you got the idea about the time series, cross-sectional and panel data? So these are the time-dependent data. So today's module, we will discuss about time series only, how this time series can be used for the forecasting. Okay, so the module objectives are, introduction of time series. We will give the brief idea about time series, its components of time series, deseasonalization, or you can say how we bifurcate the different components of time series so that we can analyze them and make the forecasting. So what is a time series? Time series in arrangement of data according to time period, according to regular time intervals. Or you can say this time series is a sequence of numerical data obtained at regular time intervals. Okay, so it is arranged in a chronological order. And this chronology may be year-wise, it may be month-wise, or it may be day-wise or hour-wise, like that. So it is arranged according to time, according to a regular time interval. Okay, it occurs in many areas like economics, finance, environment, medicine, because in economics, forecasting is a very important, that according to the past data of any particular price of any particular commodity, we will make some forecasting, make some prediction, what will be our upcoming price of that commodity in near future, what will be the share market. You all know that we will make a prediction, we make the forecasting that according to the past data, what will be the future growth of any particular rise or fall in the particular share. So it is basically used in all the spheres like economics, finance, environment, like how you can make how can you make the environment this time series. Suppose we have a data of carbon emission, and in the last 10 years, and on the basis of that you can predict, okay, that what will be the pollution level in the near future in upcoming 10 years. In medicine, just like present situation, confirmed cases of COVID-19, you can predict the number of confirmed cases in near future, like in next day wise also, and yearly, monthly. So basically it is used in all the spheres. If you have the past data and it is arranged in a chronological order, then it will be a time series analysis. It will be a time series data. So the aims of time series analysis are to describe and summarize the time series data, fit models, and make the forecast. So forecasting is a very important, use of this time series analysis, time series data. We can study the past behavior of any particular phenomena, and on the basis of this past behavior, we can make some prediction about its future behavior. This is a application of time series data. So why this time series data different from other data? How it is different from other? One is data are not independent. I have told you that data is time dependent. It is not independent because it is, it has very, past effects. You can say that cumulative effects. It is affected by cumulative, or because time series is very much affected by the autocorrelation. It is a very phenomena. It is one observation. One observation is associated or correlated with the previous observation. So this phenomena is called autocorrelation. So it is not independent at all. So this much of statistical theory relies on the data being independent, because most of the statistical techniques are based on the assumption that our data, our observations are independent. But in case of time series data, it is not the case. Our data is totally dependent, and it is not IID distributed, independently identically distributed. Okay, I have told you that it is highly affected by the autocorrelation or multicollinearity. Our observation, one observation is associated or dependent with the previous observation. So this is the basic difference between time series data and other data. Large sample size are good, but long time series are not always be the best. Okay, so sample size is large sample size is considered to be good because as we know that this large sample size will remove the sampling effect, sampling error. But this series, when this time series is long, then the cumulative effect, as I have told, this cumulative effect of the previous observations, like this multicollinearity, autocorrelation, this cumulative effect will increase as the size of the time series will increase. That's why a large, long time series is not preferred. Okay, because there is a problem of multicollinearity in that data, because it is one observation is associated with others. So it will take error also. This is the two basic difference between the time series data and other data, which are available in the statistics. Okay, so what are the users looking for in an economic time series? Because it is mostly used in economic phenomena, economic activities. So important features of economic indicator in series include direction and turning points. Okay, so what do you mean by direction? Direction of time series tell that what is what is the trend of a particular this time series data, whether it is decreasing, whether it is increasing, or whether it is constant. Okay, so one important thing is direction. Okay, second is turning point. Turning point means once it is increasing, then it becomes constant, and after that it becomes decreasing. So these are the turning points when it is changes from one direction to the another direction. So we must concentrate on these turning points. So in addition, we want to see if the series is increasing or decreasing more slowly or faster than it was before. We have to see that in the past behavior, and on the basis of that, you can predict about the future behavior of time series data. So when should time series analysis best be used? When it is used, we do not assume the existence of deterministic model governing the behavior of system considered. Here, our this, it not the deterministic model in time series, because it is a progressive or it is a random type of thing, because it is changes over the time. Okay, so in that case, we will use the time series analysis. When our phenomena in which we want to make a study is random in nature, it is not deterministic. It is changes over the time. In that case, we will go for the time series analysis. Okay, so instances where these deterministic factors are not readily available and the accuracy of the estimate can be compromised on the need. Deterministic factors are not available. Okay, because I have told you that they will change according to time. So this is not accuracy of the estimates can be compromised. Okay, we have just some basic idea about the forecasting, because something is better than nothing. It is said that something is better than nothing. We have no idea about the future, but at least if anyone can give some idea, then that will be the better for us. In place of we don't have anything. So here estimate can be compromised. Okay, we are not very much rigid about the accuracy of the estimates. In that time, we will go for the time series analysis. Third, we will only consider the univariate time series analysis. Okay, why it is called univariate? Because here we are studying only one variable at a time. Okay, so time and corresponding to that, there is only one variable. It may be the production, it may be the price, it may be the demand. Okay, so here univariate time series is considered. So these are the three cases where we prefer the time series analysis. So forecasting origins, how can we use the time series analysis for the forecasting purpose? And which type of forecasting we can use in this time series data? So this is so forecasting origins are basically, it may be the long term, 5+ years, more than 5 years into the future, like R&D, research and development, plant for location, product planning, principally judgment based. These are the judgment based, and it will take a more than 5 years term. So these forecasting, it is a long-term forecasting, and the medium-term forecasting include time period of 1 session to 2 years, like aggregate planning, capacity planning, sales forecast, mixture of these quantitative methods and judgment. It is a medium-term forecasting. What is a short-term forecasting? 1 day to 1 year. It is a very short period of time, less than 1 session. like demand forecasting, that in this year, what will be the demand of woolen cloths in the winter season. So stuffing levels, purchasing, inventory levels, what inventory will we purchase or in the store, and which should not be included in our store. So it is a very short term forecasting. So this forecasting is divided into three, basic things. One is long term, medium term, and short term. So what are the examples of this time series data? Number of babies born in each hour. It will be that this data will be hourly data, or it may be the day-wise data, or it may be the month-wise data. Okay, if we are taking the data of COVID-19 confirmed cases per day in India, like from very beginning, there is a day-wise data of COVID-19 in India. So it may be year-wise data, it may be the month-wise data, or it may be day-wise data. So you can make the forecasting for each time. It may be year-wise prediction. You can do the month-wise forecasting, and day-wise forecasting is also possible. So daily closing price of a stock in a stock market, we basically see daily closing price. We can predict about that. We can make the forecasting about that. The monthly trade balance of Japan for each year. It may be for any country. GDP of country measured each year. So you can make the forecasting about what will be this GDP in this upcoming years. So these are based on certain formula, certain models, and certain tools which will be used for the forecasting. So these are the time series data basically, like this. This data is recorded like that. Suppose it is export data from 1989 to 1998. Okay, these are the time points, particular time point, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, 10, and year 89, 90, this one. Okay, so this is the exported value. So this is the year. So this data is recorded on the year wise. It is arranged in a year wise. It may be the month wise, it may be day wise also. Okay, so this is a univariate, because with each time period, there is a one variable we are dealing with. Okay, so this is a time series data. And graphically, how can you represent them? In graph, x-axis, on the x-axis, you will always take the time period. Time is always taken on the x-axis, and on the y-axis, we will consider that variable, which is given in our problem or questions, like exports. Exports values are, plotted on the y-axis. Okay, so these points will define what will be the time export value at particular this time period. Okay, so coordinates will be like this: t comma x, time period, comma export value. Okay, so in x-axis, time will be there, and these are called independent variable. Independent variables is taken on x-axis, and dependent variable like exports, which is changing with time, that will be on y-axis. This is a okay, and this is a graphical representation of time series. If you want to make some trends or its nature, then you can make a curve which is joining the different points on the time. So with this you can interpret how it is changes with time. Starting it was increasing, then constant increasing, and like that. So you can make the prediction or conclusions according to this curve. So what is the importance of time series analysis? Why it is so important? As I have told you, it is basically used for the forecasting or for the future planning or policy making. It is very important to get some idea about what will be the upcoming years, upcoming time. Okay. For example, if we know the average production in the upcoming years, and accordingly, then we can make the formula. Then we can formulate the policies. For example, you have seen in the next upcoming last years that when our country was free at the time 1947, there was a deficit of food production in India. We have to import food production from foreign countries. Okay, so we cannot predict, but after that we make the green revolution and all these things, expertise or specialization in agriculture. Then after that we will in the situation that we can make some future planning, at this situation, our country is able to implement Food Security Act. Okay, so for each 5-year planning, government will make that this year this particular scheme will be launched. So how it is on the basis of this forecasting. So for policy making, for decision making, this time series analysis is very important. Okay, it may be the long term, it may be the short term. So understand the past. Okay, so this time series will provide a blueprint or some understanding about the past behavior of this phenomena. You can understand by seeing the time series that what is the nature of this phenomena in the last years, whether it was increasing or decreasing. And on the basis of that, you can make the prediction. You can guess on it the future. So understand the past and forecast the future. There are two basic concepts or use importance of time series. You have some basic understanding of the past behavior, and on the basis of this past behavior, you will make some forecasting about the future behavior. Okay, so these are two important application of time series analysis, to understand the past behavior and accordingly make the forecasting about the future behavior. Okay, so the government wants to know future of unemployment rate, percentage increase in the cost of living, because in every section for the government employee or private employee, there is a cost of living, CPI, consumer price index, and this is used on the basis of this CPI, de-earnings allowances will be given, DAs. Okay, so on the basis of CPI, government will predict that this quarter, this year, the CPI consumer price index will be like this. So on the basis of that, they will decide what percentage of DA will be given to the employees. So for companies to predict the demand for their production. Okay, so on the basis of time series, companies will understand its past behavior, and on the basis of that, they make the prediction or forecasting for their demand of their future these productions, and accordingly they will produce their commodities. So it is very important, because for long term it is necessary to have some idea about behavior. So basically time series components. So as you all know that this time series basically has 4 components. Any time series have 4 components: trend, seasonal, cyclic, and random component. Okay, any time series is made of 4 types of components. What is trend? Trend is a long-term. Trend is a long-term behavior. Okay, this is long-term. It means how you can define the trend? Trend is a long-term behavior which it may be increasing or it may be decreasing. What is the trend? Tendency of data to increase or decrease during a long period of time. This is called trend. Okay. So trend is nothing, only the tendency of data to increase or decrease during a long period of time. Okay. For example, if we are talking about agriculture production in India, then it has a increasing trend. Okay. And if we are considering the death rate of India, then it is a decreasing trend due to some advancement in clinical research and hospitalities. So it may be increasing or decreasing, and always remember that it is a long term. You cannot decide in a one year what is the trend. It will take more than 1 year. Okay. The second is seasonal variation. What is this seasonal variation? This seasonal variation is nothing, only the variations which will which have some variation in the particular season, very less time period. Okay, it will increase, suddenly decrease, like that. As you see that in the winter, the sale of woolen cloths will increase. Okay, and the rainy season, the sale of umbrella will increase. So it is called seasonal variation. This variation is according to the seasons. The third one is cyclic variation. The cyclic variation is nothing, only the oscillatory movement. Okay, oscillatory movements which are observed within a time. It is a cycle, and this cycle is for 1 year. This time cycle is 1 year, like that. Suppose we have some cycle like in business cycle, there is a prosperity, then this downfall, and after the recession, then after that you will increase, and then this cycle will going on. This is a cyclic process, just like business cycle. And what are the random components? In random components, we will include unseen or uncontrolled components. Okay, like drought, like flood, or like recession. Okay, so these are comes under the random component because these are not in our control. So all the components which are different from trend, seasonal, and cyclic, they will consider the random component. Okay, so these are the 4 components of any particular time series. So we will denote it by the trend, capital T. In the suffix, you will take small t. This small t is nothing, only the time period. At particular time t, small t. This is the trend, seasonal, cyclic, and RT is the regular or random or irregular component. So trend, I have already, as I have told you, that this is a long-term pattern or movements in the data. For it is a tendency to decrease or increase. It may be up to long-term upward or downward pattern of movement, like the pattern of population in India. It is increasing. It is upward trend, and the mortality rate is a downward pattern. The trend of a time series is not always linear. Okay, it may be linear, it may be geometric, it may be exponential. So it is not always linear, because in the last 6 or 7 months, in this COVID-19 time, there are so many discussions that the growth or trend of this COVID-19 pattern is a linear or exponential. What is it? Okay, so it tells about how any phenomena is increasing. So it may be linear, it may be geometric, it may be exponential. So the second is seasonal variation. These are regular periodic fluctuations that occur within a year. This the time period is within a year. Just like examples, consumption of heating oil, which is high in winter and low in other season of year. Gasoline consumption, which is high in the summer when most people go in the vacation. Okay. And I have told you that the sale of woolen cloths will increase in the winter season. Sale of umbrella in the rainy season will increase. So these are the seasonal variations. They are according to the season. So seasonal variations are like this. Okay, it will decrease in a particular season, then will summer it will increase, and a winter they will, so like that. So it will change. So it is called one cycle, second, third, and fourth. So if you are taking the quarterly, the seasonal components. Okay, so why do users want seasonally adjusted data? Because we have to remove the seasonal components so that we can make what is the basic component, which is actually in time series analysis. We are doing nothing. We are just separating all these four components, that what is the contribution of each component in this time series. Okay, and accordingly that will be controlled, that this trend component or seasonal component, which one has more effect on this time series and which has to be controlled. So there are so many techniques. Seasonal effects. What are the seasonal effects? These are the possible causes, like natural factors. I have told you that in winter season and rainy season. Natural factors, administrative or legal measures. Okay, administrative or legal measures means, suppose this COVID-19 time, the sale of mask and sanitizers have increased. So it may be the administrative or the requirement of time. Social, cultural, religious traditions, fixed holidays, timing of vacations. These are the possible causes. Okay, so next is cyclic variations. So cyclic variations are similar to the seasonal variations. Cycles are often irregular, both in height of peak and duration. There may be changes. These are the long-term product demand cycles, cycles in the monetary and financial sectors. As I have told you, that once it is a business cycle, once it will be the boom, and after that a recession, then depression, then recovery, and after that it will normal. So it is a business cycle. So such type of trends are called, components are called cyclic variations. The cyclic components are long-term wave-like patterns, regularly occur but may vary in length, often measured peak to or throw to throw. It means they will change. Peakness can be changed from one data to another. It is not certain that the time period of peakness will be 1 year, or duration will be 1 year or less than 1 year. And what will be the hike? So it will be changed from one data to another. So irregular component, as I was told, these are the out of control of human hands. We have no control on these components. These are unpredictable, random, residual fluctuations. These are the error component. Okay, just like due to random variations of nature, accidents or unusual events, or noise in the time series. What do you mean by noise? Noise is nothing, only cumulative effects or relation of one observation with the previous observation. So such cumulative effects are also the irregular components. They cannot be detached from the time series. So these are called noise. Okay, so these comes under the irregular components. So what are the causes of irregular effect? The possible causes may be unseeable weather, We don't know, we don't have any idea about the weather or natural disasters. Many times it is forecasting can help to I have some idea about these natural disasters, and timely we can make our arrangements, and then we can do that thing. Strikes. Suppose there is a strike of different sections of the society, and accordingly it will happen, all of a sudden. Okay, and it will change, normal life, normal demand and supply of commodities, sampling error, non-sampling errors. So these are the at the time of data collection, these sampling error and non-sampling errors occur. If your data is collected at the time, and the sampling errors will always be there, and non-sampling errors, just like you are collecting the data in a wrong manner. Okay, and there are two different actually errors at the time of data collection. If there is a problem, there is a irregularity in the time of data collection, no proper monitoring is there at the time of data collection, then at that time sampling error and non-sampling errors will occur in our data. So these are the possible causes for the irregular effects. So I have told that we will decompose all the components from the time series, and we will study, the contribution of each component in the time series, and accordingly we can make, predictions for each component. Okay, just like one method of describing a time series, it is a one method that this trend component is high or seasonal effect is high, then you can reduce them, and accordingly you can make the prediction. So trend is nothing. So decompose the series into various components. We will decompose the time series into all these four components: trend, seasonal, cyclic, and irregular. And after that, we will do the needful for each component, that which component has to be minimized and maximized. So it is a one method of describing a time series. How you can describe the time series? You just decompose all the components and give the idea about the contribution of each component, and accordingly you can describe the time series. So this is it may be the graphical representation. So our aim is to understand and identify different variations. Okay, we have to identify different variations, that which one is, trend variable, which is cyclic, which is random, so that we can make the predictions separately for each component. Is to understand and identify different variations so that we can easily predict the future variations separately and combined together. Okay, and look how the above complicated series could be understood as follows separately. So basic purpose is to, to decompose all the components, and we will make the prediction separately for each component. So these are the seasonal factors. These are the, graphical representation of irregular components. They have no particular trend. Okay, so there are different types of models actually are used in time series analysis. Okay, so it may be the multiplicative model, and additive model, and third is mixed model. So these three types of models are used, time series models are used for the forecasting. Okay, so one of this is the multiplicative time series model, and this is the annual data. This is for annual data, and this is used primarily for the forecasting. Okay, see, this is observed value in time series is the product of components. Okay, since it is a multiplicative, so yi is, that component, which is observed value, outcome variable, and that is depends on TI, trend, cyclic, and irregular. Here, seasonal variation has been removed. So it is used for the forecasting. Trend value at tier, cyclic, and irregular random value. Why it is not SI is here? Because it is deseasonalized. Seasonal effect have been removed. But if it is not removed, then TI into SI, seasonal variation is also included in that. Okay, so it is nothing, only the multiplication of all these four components like this. If you allow the seasonal variation, then SI will also include it. So it is a multiplicative time series model. So we will make some smoothing or some methods for analyzing the trend, like method of moving average, method of semi-average, graphical method. So moving average is the one method which is used for analyzing the trend in a time series analysis. So we will not go very much detail because it's a little bit mathematical. So, but you must know which techniques are used for the analyzing the trend. So for measuring the trend, method of moving average, method of semi-average, graphical method, they can be used. Okay, like this. Why it is called moving average? Because year-wise data is there. This is the values. So if we are taking the 3-point moving average, okay. So initially we will take the average of these three values, 5, 6, 7, 5 plus 6 plus 7 divided by 3. So it will comes out to the 6, first moving average. And after that, we will omit the first observation and take the next three values average. So this will also, it will also make a moving average time series. So these will be also a time series. So the moving average is used to analyze the trend component in the time series. Okay, so these are, if there are two series, one is this is called observed time series 5, 6, 7 like this, and it will, and this is called predicted time series. Okay, so you will make the graph, you will plot these values, actual and forecasting, and on the basis of that you can see what will be the nature of this forecasting. Okay, so this actual which was given in this series 5, 6, 7, and this is forecasted, which is in pink color. Okay, that becomes by the moving average method. So this moving average method is used for the analyzing trend. If we take the 5-point, then we will take the 5 points, 5 observations at one time. So these are the process of moving average method. A little bit mathematical calculation, so we will not go, but we will we will show the demonstration of forecasting in SPSS after this break. So it is a one method of measuring the trend. Okay, now how can you measure the seasonal effect? Okay, so to measure the seasonal effect, construct a seasonal indices. They will make the seasonal indices like method of link relative, and there are so many methods which are used to measure the seasonal effect. So seasonal indices is a degree to which the seasons differ from one another. Requirement, what the data is required. So time series should be sufficiently long to allow to observe the seasonal fluctuations. Okay, for studying the nature of seasonal effects, you need long time series. So how can you measure the seasonal effect? These are the process. These are called the ratio to trend method, ratio to moving average method, like that. So first of all, we calculate the moving average in the previous method, then set the number of periods equal to number of types of season, use the multiplicative model, then remove the ST and RT. Okay, so this is one method for the seasonal effect, like this TT. So there will be only seasonal and random component will be there. We will use the multiplicative method and divide it by the moving average. Then only we have only seasonal and random component. Then you can analyze what the contribution of seasonal effect, because random component will be always there. You cannot detach. Okay, so like this, how you calculate the seasonal index in this method. So negative trend is also trend. You must always know that trend means not is always positive. If it is only an upward direction, then only trend. But at the same time, if it is downward, then it is also a trend. Okay. So with this, we will take 5-10 minutes break, and after that we will demonstrate how time series forecasting is done in the time series by using SPSS. So I think we can take a 5 minutes break. If you have any query or suggestion, then you can write in the chat box or unmute yourself. You can write in the chat box also. Casting of time series analysis. So if you have any doubt or suggestion regarding our today's session, then you can write in the chat box. If you have any query, then you can write in the chat box. Otherwise, I have to move forward for some hands-on. Okay, so actually this time series analysis is some important data analysis technique. So it is available in the latest version of SPSS, that is SPSS 25. So if you want to make some forecasting or time series analysis, then you must install SPSS 25 version. Okay, so in your institute or in your lab, you can recommend them. If you want to make forecasting, then you must have SPSS 25 version. Okay, for practice or for your research purpose, you can download the students version and SPSS 25, and you can use for your analysis, but you cannot give it in your research paper, because it is it is not licensed version, because since SPSS is a software, so paid software, so you have to purchase it, you or your institute. Okay, for practice you can install the trial version. So anyway, I have SPSS 25. So always remember that time series analysis will be available in the SPSS 25 version, because most of people are using 22, 24 and 20. So it will not work on that version of SPSS. So anyway, I am just sharing my screen. You just write in the chat box whether it is visible or not. Okay, so my SPSS screen is visible or not? Please write in the chat box. Okay. Okay, thank you. So this is a you know, screen of SPSS, because you know that this SPSS has two window. One is input and one is output. So what will you did there in this input file? You will see in the output also. Okay. So it is a very small example to demonstrate the time series analysis. I have not taken so much data because of simplicity. So initially we have a data of any particular crop production from 2004 to 2008. Okay, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 5 years data in hand. Okay, and these are the production in kgs. You can say like in quintals. So whatever the unit may be. So we have this data. This is the year-wise data. So this time series data is arranged according to year and production. Okay. Now our basic objective is to make the forecasting about this production. Okay. This time series data is given to us, but it is from 4 to 8. Okay. And on the basis of this present data or previous data, we want to make forecasting from 2009 to onwards, 2015. Okay. This is our basic objective. Our objective is to make forecasting of this production from 2009 to 15. Okay, let's see how we can do that in time series analysis. Okay, I think our objective is clear. We have given the data of this one. This data is now hand from 2004 to 8. Production data is given to us. And on the basis of this data, we want to make the forecasting from 2009 to 15. What will be the production in near future? Okay, so first of all, we just want to know what is the trend of this our observed or given data. What is the trend of this data, whether it is increasing or decreasing. So how can we know that? We have to make, we can have some idea on the basis of particular graph or line graph, whether it is increasing, then the graph will be upward direction. If it is constant, then the graph will be on the straight line, horizontal line to x-axis, and if it is a downward, then it is a decreasing trend. Okay, so first of all, we put a graph to know the trend. So here in the dialog box, there is a file, edit, view, data, transform, analyze, and graph. Since we want to make graph, then we go for the graph. Okay, so graph, then chart builder. We are making chart, so we will go for the chart builder. Okay, so sometimes this notification will show you that before using this dialog measurement level and all these things, you have to do the OK. Okay, so now this window will be appear. Okay, so which type of diagram you want to make, which chart? Since we want to make simple line graph to know the trend, because it is univariate according to time. So on x-axis we will take the time and y-axis the production. Okay, so we will take the line graph. We will just click over here and scroll here. So it will be the line graph. Okay, now on x-axis and y-axis, what you want? On year will be on x-axis. So it is a little bit difficult. So on x-axis, the year is on x-axis. Okay, and production that will be on y-axis. Okay, so after that you will click the OK. So please wait a time. It will take some time. Okay. So we can make once again. So we will go once again, graph, on the graph, then chart builder, and after that this line graph. Year will be on x-axis and production will be on y-axis, and after that click OK. And this SPSS is running slow, that's why it's taking problem, but the process will be same. Okay, so now this graph is here. So this line diagram will be there in the output of your SPSS. Okay, so it is a time series data, and here you can see 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so such type of graph will be appeared, which is based on your observed values. Okay, it is according to the given values, like year-wise data, but this data is given from 2004 to 8. Okay, so this is a graph for this observed data. Okay, so here you can say that it is a straightforward increasing trend. So production is the increasing trend. Okay, if you want to do it, you want to paste it, then you just click over here and copy as image and make on your paper, research paper or Excel sheet. You can copy this diagram graph on your working sheet. Okay, so once again I will repeat the process. What you have to do with this. Okay, so if you want to know if you want to make the trend diagram, then you just go to graph, then chart builder. After chart builder, you will get this type of screen dialog box. Since you want to make a line diagram, so we will click on the line diagram and we'll make cursor on that. Since it is already done, that's why it's creating a problem. So anyway, graph, chart builder. So we will reset it. Okay, so since we are making a line diagram, so we will click the line and then click this line diagram and cursor over here and trace here. Okay, now these variables are there. Since on the x-axis, what you want year. So we will do the year here. And what is the production will be on y-axis. So we will put here, okay, and then okay. So such graph will be appeared in the output box of your SPSS sheet. If you want to copy it, then click and copy on your working sheet. It may be Excel or it may be, your research paper. So you can use this diagram to show the trend of your time series data. Okay, and the next thing, which is very important, is forecasting. How will you make the forecasting from 2009 to 15? Okay, so for that, remember, we will go for analyze. We will go in the analyze. And since we are making forecasting, so we will go in the forecasting. Okay, analyze, and after that, forecasting. In forecasting, you go to the create traditional models, because traditional models, it will always take the traditional models like ARIMA model and all these models which are inbuilt. So create the traditional models. Look, there is a, before you use the dialog starting time and time interval, you have to set the time, whether your time is, because you know, this time series package in SPSS is for all, for year-wise data, for monthly data, for quarterly data, for day-wise data. So you just, so what is the type of your time data, whether it is yearly, whether it is monthly, or it is day-wise. So you just define the day and time. Okay. So you just click over, define the dates, and after that, since our data, they look day and hours, weeks. If your data is weekly, then you can select like this, hours or minutes. So it is for all. If it is our hourly data, day-wise data, then you can select this. Since our data is yearly data, year-wise data, so we will select years. Okay. So first year will be, you just put here, what is your first year? That is 2004. So you just put that year. It will take accordingly. Okay. So you just click, take the year, and after that enter the first year. What is the first year? 2004, and then click OK. Okay. Now we will again go for analyze. Now that this data is shown here, like how your data is there, year data, not period. And you can see in the this input graph, there will be the separate, you know, things are there. Two columns are which have been made after that. When you decide, when you define the data, when you define the time, okay, 4, 5, 6 like that, because initially we have only two columns. But once you define the data, date, then there will be these two. Okay, now you can analyze, then forecasting, create the traditional models. Okay, then these are the variables which are already given. So our dependent variable this is called time series modeler. So this box is called time series modeler. Here time series is done. So this time series modeler, the first is variables. So we will click on the variables. So our dependent variable will be production, and independent variable year, time. Time is independent and production is dependent. Okay. Next is statistics. Which statistics are required? So these are stationary R square, goodness of fit. So there are so many things, but we need only stationary R square and goodness of fit, which are already selected. So we have not do anything. Then after that, plot. What will you plot? Series. We have to plot the series. Each plot display the observed values and forecast value. We need only two things: observed values and forecast value. Okay. We need a plot diagram which will show the observed values and forecasted values. So in the plots, we will do nothing. Only we go for the plots and then series, observed and forecast. Okay. Then output filler, there is no need. Save. in the save box, in the save, you have to select the predicted value. You want predicted values. You need, if you need lower confidence limit, then what will be the lower limit of that predicted value, and what will be the upper value. Okay. And then options. In option, there is a confidence interval that is 95%, model 24. So you have to do nothing. Okay. So after making these corrections, first I repeat again, once again, in variables, you have to take dependent and independent variables in these box. So what are the dependent variables? In our time series data, production is dependent variable. Okay. And independent variable is year. Year is independent variables. Okay. And export method, there will be expert remove like this. So expert modeler is there. Okay. Again, we will go for statistics. So statistics, there is already given that display fit measures, stationary R square and goodness of fit are required only. Okay. Then plots means which type of graph you are needed. You need only graphs associated with series only. Okay. So plots for individual models like series, you will click on the series, then observed values and forecast values. Okay. Then go for the output filter. You have do nothing, and then go to save. And in the save, you know what you need. You need predicted values in your SPSS, in your table, predicted values, lower confidence limit of their predicted values, that is the minimum value, then upper confidence limit. Okay, then go for option. It is already given, so you have to do nothing. So you just click on OK. So output file will be like that. Model summary, model description. This is a model type, alt. It is the inbuilt model. And these are the values. Model fit, model statistics. These tables will show about the model. But the most important thing is this graph. This graph will show. You can make corrections. Like if you want to click, then you can make it year. Number, you can write production. Okay. Okay, so the most important thing is this graph. Okay, this plot will show the observed values and the production. Okay, so it will show both things, observed and forecast. This is a forecast. So 2004 to 8, it is observed values because it is given in our data set time series. So 2004 to 8, it is observed values. And after that, 2009 to 15, it is a predicted or forecasted values. So these are the forecasted values. So this graph will show the observed as well as forecasted values. Okay, so it will take from 2004 to 15. It is a graphical representation of forecasted values. Okay, but the actual thing which we want to need in our time series data, that was predicted values. It is a trend. It is a trend of forecasting values. Okay, so this graph is required for your analysis purpose. And the most important thing is that in your input, so that we will go in that. Yeah, here you can see that this will, after analysis, these three columns will appear after the analysis. Okay, so these year and production data was given from 2004 to 8 in starting. Now, since we have did the time series analysis, so now this year and data again, so because we have defined the date, but the most important thing is these three columns. One is predicted production model, LCL, lower control limit, lower confidence limit of prediction, and upper confidence limit. So these are the predicted values. Okay, so these are the observed values, but these observed values are from where? 2004 to 8. But now here you can see that after that 2009 to 15, 2009 to 15, these values are also shown here. Okay, so from 2009 to 2015, these are here these are missing because it was not given to us. But after time series analysis, here we have got these predicted values. So finally you can write this table in your analysis part, and you can say that after doing the time series analysis, these will be the forecasted values from 2009 to 2015. Okay, and what are the lower control confidence level? Lower and upper means at least 934.36 production will be there, and the maximum will be 2720. So similarly, for 2009 to, these values are forecasted values. Okay, these are the actual forecasted values, predicted values, and these are the minimum value, and this is the maximum value of production from 2009 to 15. So in this way, you can make the forecasting by using the time series analysis. Similarly, if your data is on month wise, so in that case, you can define the data month wise. If it is a day wise data, because I have done this analysis for forecasting of COVID-19 cases, confirmed cases, I have taken the data day wise data, and after that I have predicted for next 2 months data we have forecasted. So this is the way how many of statistician will show what will the forecasted values in upcoming next 2 months or 3 months of these confirmed cases. Okay, so this is a time series analysis and forecasting. So this is the way how you can make the forecasting. Okay, so is there a question from, so for how many years we should forecast? Is there any maximum limit as for how many years forecasting is appropriate? Actually, it is not required, but 5 years will be better for some forecasting, because after that it is not, but there is no maximum limit. You can make 2015 to 50, because there are so many cases where you can predict for 30 years, for 20 years. So this is the way what you need and what is the objective of your study. Okay, if you are making the long-term forecasting, then more than 5, and long-term. So it all depends on your policy for which you are making the forecasting. So there is no such maximum limit. Okay, it depends on the objective of your study. So any other question from the participants or any suggestion? Then you can unmute yourself. So this was a brief idea about the time series forecasting through the time series analysis. Okay. Similarly,
Sir, I
yeah,
have a
please.
doubt. Sir,
I'm just,
always during the forecasting, we need the two columns, that is year and dates.
yeah.
At the time
Hello.
of forecasting, we need always two column.
Yes, yes.
Yes, am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes, please continue.
So during the forecasting, we always need the two columns, year and dates. It's necessary every time.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Because the time series data, it may be the day-wise data, it may be month-wise data, but the data should be there.
Okay.
Time should be there.
Okay. And date should be specified, sir.
Yes, yes. If you have date-wise data, like 15, 1, 20 to 21, there is a 1 year data. Okay, there are 3 months data, but that data is day-wise. Then you can
Okay.
also do the analysis by the day-wise forecasting. In the
Okay.
COVID-19 cases, we have predicted the day-wise forecasting.
Okay.
There are certain options in there. You just go in that, because you have to define, you have to define the time, whether it is monthly, whether it is time day-wise data or like that.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Just a minute. So you have to define the time, whether it is monthly, whether it is quarterly or like that. Accordingly, you will get the data. Okay. Any other
Forecasting is
question?
depend on that only.
Yes.
Forecasting, when how I'm giving the input like the day wise data or month wise data, according to
Yes.
that
Yes.
forecasting result will be there, na?
Yes. Yes. You will
Okay,
get
sir. Thank
the,
you.
if you enter the year-wise data, then the year-wise forecasting will be there. If you will give the day-wise data, then day-wise forecasting will be there.
Okay.
So don't worry about that. But the main thing is you have to define the time or define the data in this,
Okay.
this one thing. Here you have to define the data, whether data is monthly or yearly. You have to define that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So any other query or questions? You just go and check. There are so many things are there, because basically in this COVID period, maximum of the forecasting was done using the time series analysis, but the data was monthly day-wise data, because it is less than 1 year. So we cannot take the monthly data. So day-wise data was there. And accordingly, they will make the prediction that how much confirmed cases will be there in India in upcoming 1 month. Okay. So I'm just stop sharing. If you have any doubt, then you can. Okay. So actually it is a paid software, and its cost is almost to 5 to 6,000. And you can see, you can take from your institutions or your friends, then you can download it, but it is a licensed version.
Sir, I have one more doubt.
Yes, please.
Sir, I'm basically from the science background student. That is, I'm doing the research in the chemistry field. Is it applicable to this that research area also? The same thing?
Actually the most important thing is you need data. If you have
Yes.
data, then time-wise data, then you can apply on that.
Okay.
For chemistry, you have different types of experiments are there, whose data is you have in your hand, like year-wise data. There are certain observations, there are certain readings. Okay.
Okay.
Like particular carbon dating or anything else. So you can just put the time series data in SPSS and you can make forecasting. But the most
Okay.
important thing that you have time series data.
Okay. I must have data for that.
Yes, of course.
Okay. So thank you.
So any other question or query, suggestion? You can write, but I think now this is time, because we are not so much, because at the previously so many researchers have done so many forecasting using time series analysis. But why they are not so accurate? This is a problem. Because in month of May 2020, I just make a paper and give my idea that in the end of May 2020, and there will be cases, 1 lakh cases in India. But that was not true. The cases were more than that. Why? Because it depends on the data which we are providing. Because data was not accurate. In case of COVID-19, we have no sufficient data. That's why our results are not so accurate. So it will give some, for the accuracy of data, you need better data quality. But something is better than nothing. If you have no idea, then at least you have some forecasting value, forecasted or predicted values. At least you will get some idea whether it is increasing or decreasing, and accordingly you can make your decisions. Okay. So, Dr. Brajesh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
Any doubt, any suggestion, sir? Or
no, sir. It was really very wonderful session, and
thank you.
Time series and forecasting. That is the most practical
yes.
tools which we can live in our daily life.
Yes, you can apply in every branch, whether it may be the agriculture, it may be economics. If you have like time series data, then you can make forecasting.
Yeah, forecasting nowadays we can see most of the in NCR people who are working or which are working in Delhi, they are most probably go to the Google and take the map, and that is also a forecasting. How much time will you take to reach your office?
Yes.
And you can see, and or we can see current dates. In current date scenario, forecasting is very reliable.
Yes.
Because in the previous years, when weather forecasting there tomorrow will be a rainy day, but there will no rain next day.
But
nowadays,
yeah.
Now it's now current scenario. It is a very reliable, and most of the 99% forecasting are
accurate. Actually, they are accurate because of the good quality of data. And the method they will apply, for the forecasting. Okay.
Method most probably.
Yes. So once you actually from the in Indian scenario, once there is a satellite for the weather forecasting is applied, so that will take very close data, and after that our forecasting becomes so accurate.
Okay. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, Dr. Sandeep, sir.
Yes. Hello, I am Dr. Sandeep. Yes, okay, this was very fruitful discussion, and all the participants, including our organization team and all the persons, get benefited from this discussion, and this was very important. And thank you, Dr. Dharmendra sir. This was very informative and well explained about the time series and forecasting. And definitely all the participants who are from medical science, social science, pure science, as our one of the participants get inquired about the chemistry.
Yes.
And so all the fields, including arts and marketing field and all the different fields, get benefited from this. And nowadays, this is very important field for forecasting, and in the data science and artificial intelligence also doing more and more work on this model.
Yes.
So
if you have the most important thing that you have data in your hand. It may be the month-wise data, it may be year-wise data, or it may be hourly or day-wise data. And according, you can make the forecasting. It may be the branch, anything, any branch.
Yes, yes. You mentioned that we should clear about two things. Definitely, that one thing is when you are collecting the data, that data should be sufficient and very clear for the researcher. And second thing, the researcher should know about the objective of the study. So thank you, sir. On behalf of organizing committee and all the participants, I thank you.
Thank you so much,
Dharmen,
sir. Thank you, sir. And thanks to all the participants for their wonderful cooperation. And I am sure and assure you that if you need any help regarding this statistical analysis or any help, especially Dr. Madhu Sharan is saying, so ma'am, you can take my help anytime. You just write me my email ID. I'm just giving my email ID to all of you. If you need anything, any help regarding statistics, you can contact me. So,
okay, thank you. We will meet tomorrow at 6 p.m. for next session on day 6 of TTRM, our training program 2020-21. So thank you, all the participants also. So good night.
Thank you. Thank you. All the best.